In today's video, we will talk about nitric oxide and anti-aging benefits of this molecule. As always, I recommend to download presentation as PDF file from the link in the description and read this presentation because you will get access and to references and you can go deeper to this subject. Nitric oxide is a colorless gas with formula NO, and it is one of the main oxides of nitrogen. It is also a free radical with one unpaired electron. Nitric oxide is produced by the endothelium cells that line the blood vessels, mainly in response to mechanical stimuli such as shear stress and pressure. Nitric oxide acts as a signaling molecule that causes vasodilation, which increases blood flow and lowers blood pressure. Nitric oxide also helps to improve gas exchange in the lungs and tissues, especially during exercise, hypoxia, and other conditions that require increased oxygen consumption. The endothelium can be considered as a large endocrine organ with mass of about 1.5 kilo, as it produces up to 90% of the total nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide is synthesized from the amino acid L-arginine by enzyme nitric oxide synthase. So this slide presents this endothelium cells, which is one cell thick layer, very important, that protects the blood vessels from the foreign substances. Also, it regulates blood flow. Nitric oxide plays an important role in many biological processes in our body. Some of the main functions of nitric oxide are dilation of blood vessels and improvement of blood circulation in tissues, relaxation and contraction of skeletal and cardiac muscles, as well as bronchi, relaxation and contraction of smooth muscles of the intestine, improved blood flow to the reproductive organs of men and women, decrease in cortisol release, signaling of the central and peripheral nervous systems, influence on the synthesis of adenosine triphosphate, ATP, in mitochondria, suppression of adhesion of platelets in the blood and organelles in the cells, improvement of wound healing and fusion of bone fractures, cytostatic and cytotoxic effects of the immune system against malignant cells. Nitric oxide has been known to have beneficial effects on cardiovascular system for over a century, as nitroglycerin, a source of nitric oxide, was used to treat angina pectoris. This is a chest pain, usually caused by insufficient blood flow to the heart muscle due to spasm of the coronary arteries. Nitric oxide lowers the blood pressure by causing vasodilation in the blood vessels. In 1986, it was discovered that nitric oxide is a molecule that mediates the relaxation of vascular smooth muscles. So it is all the blood vessels. Nitric oxide is lipophilic, so it can diffuse from the endothelium cells to the smooth muscle cells and activate a signaling cascade that leads to vasodilation, so relaxation of these muscles. Nitric oxide modulates neural activity, blood viscosity, immune response, reproductive functions, neuromuscular transmission, and the formation of new blood vessels. So this is this pain in the chest because of reduced blood supply to the heart. Aging is associated with stiffening of blood vessels, a reduction in nitric oxide production, decreased blood flow in the capillaries, increased blood pressure, chronic hypoxia in tissues, and impaired thermoregulations. In conditions of chronic hypoxia, the cells produce energy anaerobically without the use of oxygen, while mitochondria degrade. Damaged mitochondria produce more reactive oxygen species, which suppress the activity of this enzyme, the nitric oxide synthesase. Okay, therefore the endothelium cells produce less nitric oxide, And endothelium dysfunction may contribute to the increased risk of cardiovascular disease in the elderly and to the inability of dissipate heat through the skin through the dilation of capillaries when exposed to heat. This you can click on the, you can download the presentation, click on the references, and you will get to the source. So you see that, as always, I emphasize that the core, the root cause of the aging is stiffening of blood vessels. What develops further, it is decreased blood flow in the capillaries and blood vessels, increased blood pressure, chronic hypoxia in tissues, etc., etc. So this is the main is this stiffening of blood vessels because of glycation reaction between protein molecules and collagen especially, and sugars. This is the core cause of the aging. So here this slide presented the anaerobic glycolysis, which is happen in healthy cells in case of no oxygen, and this is a result of chronic hypoxia, or it is this malignant cells such as senescent cells and cancer tumor cells. Cancer cells can use aerobic glycolysis even in presence of oxygen because they need carbon, and they produce most of energy with this anaerobic glycolysis. This is so-called Warburg effect. Mice that lack this enzyme to synthesize nitric oxide and do not produce nitric oxide have impaired brown adipose tissue function and compromised ability to generate heat by burning fat in response to cold exposure. So you see that it is nitric oxide is very important both for all thermoregulation to generate heat or also to remove heat from body in case of hot heat exposure like sauna. Nitric oxide prevents the adhesion and aggregation of blood cells such as leukocytes and platelets to the endothelium. It reduces the risk of thrombosis, which one of the main causes of heart disease and stroke. Exposure to sunlight, especially long wavelength ultraviolet radiation, increases the production of nitric oxide by endothelium cells and can improve overall health independently of vitamin D production. The benefits of sunlight exposure overweigh the risk of skin cancer. It is interesting that nasal breathing also increases the production of nitric oxide from the body. So you see that at the morning, if you are exposed to sunlight at very early morning, in very early morning, it is very healthy. Also, the nose breathing is helps to keep your body healthy. Your bones are growing more healthy, and then again all the body is healthy and look nice, handsome. In difference from mouth breathing, and especially it is for kids. So try to use nose breathing, especially during the sleep. Mice weaken this enzyme and thus, caloric restriction, a dietary intervention extending rodent lifespan is linked to increased production of nitric oxide modulated by protein sirtuin-1 and the production of another signaling molecules called CGMP. This molecule stimulates mitochondrial biogenesis, oxygen consumption, and thermogenesis in mice. The study suggests that nitric oxide plays a crucial role in the beneficial effects of caloric restriction and on longevity in rodents. Additionally, low blood glucose levels, such as seen in ketogenic diets, can increase nitric oxide production. So this is the example of ketogenic meals. This what I used also to eat a lot of mushrooms and eggs. It was very healthy. I remember now I don't eat much mushrooms, but yet I tried to follow ketogenic diet or actually carnivore diet with getting most of energy from animal fat and coconut oil. Some interventions that can stimulate nitrogen oxide production and improve cardiovascular health are cold exposure, caloric restriction, low blood glucose levels, and exercise. So I'll repeat a little bit the information. Exercise increases blood flow in the brain, blood microvessels, and lowers blood pressure after exercise, a phenomenon known as post-exercise hypotension. In particular, endurance training reverses the signs of accelerated aging and increases the longevity of mice by improving mitochondrial turnover. Caloric restriction is a dietary intervention that has been shown to extend lifespan of rodents in many experiments. A study of this 9, the reference is the author Naisoli et al. Found that mice fed a diet with 30-40 fewer calories than the control group has higher levels of nitric oxide in their tissues. So, but again, this calorie restriction and ketogenic diet is mimicking the calorie restriction, so it is very recommended to follow ketogenic diet instead of high carbohydrate diets. So cold exposure, yeah, very healthy, very healthy. If you can use it, do it, yeah. Calorie restriction also induced by expression of protein called sirtuin-1, which is known to modulate the aging process. Again, I will repeat a little bit. Furthermore, calorie restriction stimulated the production of intracellular signal molecules called, pardon, I repeat the slide, but okay, called cyclic guanoside monophosphate, which enhances mitochondrial biogenesis, oxygen consumption, and thermogenesis in the mice. These effects were absent in mice that lacked the enzyme to produce nitric oxide, which is responsible for synthesizing nitric oxide from amino acids L-arginine. Endurance training can also reverse the signs of accelerated aging and increase longevity of mice by improving mitochondrial turnover. Since nitric oxide production is also increased by low blood glucose level, following low carbohydrate diets such as ketogenic diet, that's following this ketogenic diet may be another way to mimic calorie restriction and extend the lifespan of animals by improving their metabolic health. So this is, as I said, this is very easy way to extend your lifespan, just mimicking by calorie restriction diet. Okay, what else? Again, the endurance exercises and swimming and especially diving is very helpful. Especially this as a picture represent Japanese ama. These women are diving down to 30 meters deep and collect some sea animals and seafood. And this is very healthy, and this woman is 80 years old, so, and she's yet quite well looking and for her age, and very active. 30 meters deep, it is a lot. My personal record is 25 meters deep, so it is. I cannot say that even in my best age, I never was going deeper than 25 meters. But now maybe 15 meters I will be okay. Diving 15 meters okay for me. Aging is a complex process that involves various mechanisms and factors. One of the proposed theories of aging is the oxidative stress theory, which states that the accumulation of reacting oxygen species in the cells damages the biomolecules and leads to cellular dysfunction and senescence. Antioxidants have been used as potential anti-aging agents. However, the results of antioxidant supplementation have been disappointing, in particular vitamin C in small doses and selenium, and or even detrimental, as some antioxidants like beta-carotene, vitamin A and vitamin E have been shown to increase the risk of age-related diseases and mortality. So this is known as antioxidant paradox. So it is not our body is not working very obvious way. So it is indeed Accumulation of reactive oxygen species is very dangerous, especially because it is a result of hypoxia, of chronic hypoxia. But again, you have to understand how everything works. On the other hand, some studies have reported that certain antioxidants can enhance the production of nitric oxide, in the cilium, which may improve the vascular function and health of the elderly. So you can click and see what kind of antioxidants are helpful. Reactive oxygen species and nitrogen oxide. Nitric oxide affects the quality and quantity of mitochondria, the organelles that produce energy in the form of ATP. Mitochondria undergo constant turnover through the fission and fusion, which are regulated by the presence of nitric oxide. With aging, an increase in the reactive oxygen species and accumulation of oxidized lipids, lipofuscin, and polyunsaturated fatty acids, oxidized certainly fatty acids, in the lysosomes impair the degradation of defective mitochondria and reduce the biogenesis of new mitochondria. This results in decreased energy production and further increased oxidative stress in some tissues. But again, the core cause is the chronic hypoxia, and chronic hypoxia leads to this. So, but yet again, presence of nitric oxide is very important for turnover of mitochondria. So this is so-called age spots or accumulation of lipofuscin in skin here in old people, and then again, if you see such spots in your skin, it means you have accumulation of this oxidized polyunsaturated fatty acids and also lipoproteins and other stuff which is not healthy at all. This is a result of this chronic hypoxia. Macrophages and leukocytes produce large amounts of nitric oxide together with superoxide radicals, which is oxygen molecule but without one electron, in order to kill invading pathogens in the body, as well as to destroy malignant cells that are formed in the body itself. These malignant cells are tumor cells, cells infected with viruses, and senescent cells. It is believed that the cytotoxic effect of nitric oxide, such as peroxynitrite, is due to its reaction with superoxide and formation of reactive nitrogen species. This is again this peroxynitrite. It is considered as a reactive nitrogen species. And peroxynitrite can also decompose to form hydroxyl radical, which are highly reactive oxygen species. Then it causes further damage. An increase in the amount of reactive oxygen species and reactive nitrogen species in the cell can change the action of nitric oxide from cytostatic to cytotoxic. Again, so you see chronic hypoxia is a root, is a cause. But again, then what you can develop this accumulation not only reactive oxygen species but reactive nitrogen species in the cells. So that be careful again that too much nitric oxide also not very good. The toxic effect of nitric oxide is manifested in the suppression of enzymes involved in DNA replication. In addition, nitric oxide and peroxynitrite can directly damage DNA, which leads to cell death, apoptosis. Macrophages and leukocytes produce large amounts of nitric oxide and reactive nitrogen species and superoxide when they encounter foreign agents such as bacteria, viruses, or tumor cells. However, this can also cause collateral damage to the surrounding healthy cells and tissues, leading to inflammation and oxidative stress. The balance between protective and cytotoxic effects of nitric oxide is influenced by many factors such as aging, diet, exercise, and sunlight exposure. So what I can recommend for sure, it is exercise, endurance exercise, and sunlight exposure, and carnivore diet, which is a subdivision of the ketogenic diet. So to use animal fat as a source of energy. And but again, the cause, the root of the all aging is chronic hypoxia, which develops because of glycation reactions and stiffening of blood vessels because of glycation. Okay, a high carbohydrate diet can increase reactive oxygen species and reactive nitrogen species levels, while a ketogenic diet with high protein consumption can provide enough L-arginine for nitric oxide synthesis. However, L-arginine and nitrite supplements have to be used with caution, as they can have adverse effects on health and performance. In oncological diseases, nitric oxide performs contradictory functions. On one hand, it is in chronic tissue inflammation. Nitric oxide promotes cancerous cells degeneration and ability of the immune system to destroy malignant cells. So it is, again, from one side it is good because the immune cells can destroy these tumor cells. But on the other hand, the increase of nitric oxide production improves the supply of nutrients to tumor cells and other malignant cells. So the result of L-arginine supplements can be cancer development, accelerated aging, and shorter lifespan. So be cautious. Again, remember that what is the main cause? It is the stiffening of blood vessels, and only nitric oxide supplements like L-arginine will not help. It is yet helpful, but you have to be very cautious to use it. Okay, so here's the references which I used in this presentation, and again, my opinion is very different from official opinion because I am not a medical specialist. I am doctor of science, but I'm doctor in physics and mathematics. Biology is my passion. Yes, I like it, I love it, and always loved nature. But again, you are not supposed to follow my opinion, or at least you have to consult your medical professionals to do this or that. I never do it. I stay healthy. The last 25 years, I never was sick even with the flu. And I try to think and to use it. And I use artificial intelligence, of course, in my work. But what is interesting, recently this artificial intelligence changed so that it is presenting only opinion of the World Health Organization. And again, if you want to follow official medical advising, okay, you can use artificial intelligence. But to get information what I present you, it is not easy. Not easy. I use scientific publications. I try to use my logics because my goal is going much further than normal health extension, normal extension of lifespan. I try to get a radical lifespan extension. It is up to a few hundred years, and it is not easy. Again, I am not. You cannot be sure that I will get it, or just follow 200-300 years follow me and to see the result, because I have to prove it that I am right. I believe that I am right, and I see some signs of rejuvenation in my body, but yet again people don't believe me. Mostly they don't believe me. But okay, if you will follow this my information, at least you can think, and at least you can improve your health and to live maybe 100 years or maybe 120 years. So it's okay. I'm not getting any official support and no money from YouTube too. So if you want to support my channel, at least press button like and bells button, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with your friends and family. Also comments and questions in the will be helpful, because I try to answer, and your participation is always help me, because I try to think. If you ask questions, it helps me to think and to get deeper into this subject. But again, this rejuvenation of body is not easy. I tell you, not easy. There is no some magic pill. Everything is connected, and the main what I always try to explain, it is the use of some advanced enzymes which will reverse the stiffening of the skin and extracellular matrix, and especially blood vessels. It is possible. I see it on myself, but it goes slowly. It takes time. If you are aging slowly, you cannot expect quick rejuvenation. It is also goes slowly, but result is good. I see some change in my appearance, not only in blood pressure and my endurance performance. It works. It works. That I'm quite happy with the results. And again, it is again I want to tell you that my recommendations, my information, what I provide is completely different from official recommendations. I follow not so-called balanced diet. I follow very restrictive ketogenic diet, which is very special. And again, it works for me, but it may not work for you. So you have to be very cautious. That's it. I cannot take any responsibility for your health. I just again, as I'm not medical professional. Okay, have a wonderful day. Ciao, ciao.